Welcome back to another edition of Running with James. Hello, my name is James, and I am excited to be here with you today. I am trying to keep my stuff together because I am so stressed and so worried about what's going to happen and excited all at the same time. And why am I excited? Because we have three very young, lovely ladies here with us today. Wow. The three amigas, Dani, Laura, Jess. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. This is not their intro. I'm just explaining to the people why there's four women here today.
Yes, I'm still here.
And this is like Lauren's dream, to have more women than men.
Podcast.
Yeah.
Happening.
So it's very emotional for her. She's going to be high-strung all day, and so I'm just worried that it's going to go off the rails real quick. So you're the point of order guy.
Roger that, coach.
Okay, so everybody, y'all are familiar with
Nope. All right, see, come on now.
I'm sorry, Rocky, Rock Dog.
Dog.
Yeah, so he is our point of order. So if we get off the rails, if it sounds like we're crossing too much, you're going to say point of order or
POA.
something. Yeah,
Need a gavel?
No, I'm good.
he's good.
I
He'll just
got
throw
the
water
hammer.
in your face. Actually, you know what? We should have got a spritzer. And we got to
would've
like,
been good.
like she does with the cats. Actually, speaking of cats, did you see that video? Did I send you that video? I feel like I sent you a video.
What video?
It was of this lady, and she was laying down on this cat.
I refuse to watch it.
And the cat's like kept trying to get her face. And he's like, and it was like, it's like me with my cats. It's like, come on, girl, come on, talk to me, look at me, come on, I'll be your man. It was, I don't know why, but I picture that's like.
You said, all I saw was, why do I feel like this is you at home at night in bed or something like that?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, well.
And this cat's trying to make out with this chick, and the chick is like trying to like play it off, but the cat just like gently putting its paw on her face and bringing her in, trying to kiss her face. So.
I
just
will
felt
not
like-
say whether or not my cat does or does not like to get in my bubble.
See what I'm saying?
He does get in my face a lot.
It was hilarious. I'm going to post it for you guys so you guys can see it, what I'm talking
Okay.
about, because it's a lot funnier. So, but anyway, we are going to jump into this because we don't have a ton of time to get through all of this stuff. And we have these wonderful ladies here with us. So, Lauren, I already said their names, but you got bio information. You got all the deets.
I thought you were doing bio
Let's
information.
introduce these chicks.
Oh, man, okay. I thought you were doing bio information. I just shut my bio
I'm going to
down.
start with Laura.
Oh, all right.
And the only reason I'm starting with Laura is simply because she won the Sugarland Marathon.
USA Fit Marathon.
And you understand what I said? She won it. She wasn't like age group. I mean, she was the first woman to
The
cross
winner.
the finish line. She is a Boston qualifier. On her way to High Rocks Championships qualifier.
Working on it.
And the Rookie of the Year
Time out.
with BC Fitness.
You're forgetting the best part.
What?
She's one half of the low runs.
This is true. This is the other half of the low runs.
She
I
is
forgot
the
about
other
it.
half of Laura
right.
runs, and it's actually now officially on a check. So,
It is.
so
it is.
it's somewhere printed
You
out
really
there
had
in the
them put
Sugarland
that on that
community.
check?
We did. I'll send you the picture, James.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be like in the Sugarland newsletter.
Yeah.
Forever.
I need to look at that. I bet we're in the news.
Yeah.
Yeah, we probably are.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
I love that. All right, so I just wanted to make sure that everybody understood that she won the Sugarland Marathon. You can go ahead and introduce these other two ladies.
All right, so next to the lovely Laura, we also have our beautiful Jessica Jackrabbit, as I like to call her.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like
Jessica the
that.
Jackrabbit. Jessica, you have been with BC for like over a year now, a little
Yeah.
over a year.
Yeah.
You also BQ'd at the Chevron Houston Marathon.
I did.
With a very impressive 3:08.
Yes.
It was
Yeah, it was
very, it was
awesome.
very much a sight to see. You before that, your best half marathon time was like a 1:29, and let's see. Oh, you've been running for about 15 years.
That's true.
So you've been
time
doing this for a long
flies.
time.
Time flies when you're having fun.
But has it been
But-
as much fun since before you came
There
to
we
be with
go.
us?
It was never as much fun, but I actually did. I used to enjoy kind of biking more than I enjoyed running.
Oh.
So I've embraced running since biking is very dangerous in Houston. So I
Yeah.
said,
So you also, because you also did duathlons.
I
you
did
mentioned.
duathlons,
Yeah,
so
so
that's
you also
kind
did
of
duathlons.
when I started running was more because I had kind of felt like I'd gotten about as fast as I could on the bike, and so it was like, well, if I'm gonna keep winning, I gotta get faster running.
Yeah.
So that's when I kind of
Is it
started.
really?
getting
Is that
into-
all it's about for you, Jess? Is winning?
It is a lot about winning.
You're not first, you're last. Is that how it
yeah,
is?
Could you
no.
not ever pick that up when we do any group runs? And she's always like just slightly
Just a
ahead.
little bit. Yeah, no, I just a little bit competitive, but
Nice.
but yeah, no, I enjoyed that too.
Nothing wrong with it.
Are we going on to our next guest?
We are.
Yeah, you got
This
to.
is my favorite one. You know why?
Why?
Because she's the reason for your downfall. the other day.
Oh,
This
yeah,
This
that's
is the
true.
reason why James did not run the full marathon.
Nice. I was wondering who was going to be the one to bring that up.
It was me.
Nice.
You are his
I didn't find out about it until like that morning.
Yeah.
It felt really bad.
Why?
Yeah,
I
why
mean,
did you
I
keep it
did
a
it, but-
secret?
I almost
I didn't
texted you.
keep
We gotta-
anything a
We need
secret.
to come back to that.
There was
no
no
one knew.
secret.
No one knew that
Yeah.
you weren't running.
I told
He
you
did
I
keep
was.
it
I called
secret.
you on.
I mean, I knew that you weren't running, but I was like the only one that knew.
I thought everybody knew. I told everybody. Okay, so I didn't like share it with a ton of people because I didn't want to demotivate people for their race.
That's true.
I got to help people stay focused. I don't want people feeling bad
You
for me.
didn't really
I
give the
told her and she
details.
almost started crying.
I did.
I
I'm
think
like,
his ego
why?
was bruised because that's what he gets for trying to be Danny.
Wow.
I mean,
So just a
Really
quick
going
recap.
out.
For a quick recap in case you missed last
we don't
week's
need to
episode.
recap it.
We did strides. We were doing Sunday training.
Jesus.
James got a little ahead of himself, and
I
thought
got a little ahead of
Thought
myself.
he'd race the beautiful, graceful Dani over
This
here,
is
who is
why
the
I
human
didn't wanna
gazelle.
Be next to you though, because I knew
And she
we were
beat
going to
him.
be competitive, or at least I was going to be competitive
Yeah?
with you, and
Okay.
I wanted to beat you. So I went faster, and you went faster.
Oh yes.
And one of you walked away and did the Chevron Marathon. The other one limped away with a busted quad. So I'm sorry, James.
Right. A ding in his pride. Oh, yes. So, Danny ran track in high school.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah.
She did 400 and the 4x4s, of course.
Yep.
She is she did start running it 2 years ago,
Yeah.
and she already took down the almighty James. Oh, my goodness. This should be
It only took
RWD
me
up
2
there.
years. Yeah.
Wow. This is
Imagine what
awesome.
she's capable of.
I'm
in
enjoying
15.
myself, just so you guys know.
But you ran the 400, which is kind of, I think,
That's
mean,
one of the
one of
hardest
the
races
hardest
there
races
is.
there
Period.
is. I
Yes.
think you got to really pause on
The
that one, Rocky.
400.
'cause-
Yeah, I love the 400.
And what leg were you on the 4x4?
I was the first leg.
Oh, started it off.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that.
I was the last leg on the 400.
Yeah, you're also on the last leg right now. You only have one good one.
Yeah, that was 3 weeks ago. I'm fine now. Let's go.
She had no idea what a half marathon was before all this?
No, when I started running, like I was in a gym group, and one of the girls was like, "Oh, I'm gonna run this race," and I was like, "Oh, what do you like 3 miles or something?" She's like, "Oh, half marathon." I was like, "What's that?" And she's like, "Oh, you run 13 miles," and I was like, "You run 13 miles?" I was like, "Well, I want to do it," and I literally ran like for 2 months. I think I ran a total of 5 times. I was like, if I can run 10 miles straight, then I'll sign up for the half marathon. And I went out. I had eaten a whole bunch of Oreos like right before.
Carbo
I went
load.
out. Yeah, I
was
didn't know what that
carbo-loaded,
was.
yeah.
I went out and ran 10 miles, and I signed up. And like literally 2 weeks later, I ran a half marathon.
Nice.
And yeah,
What
I
was
was
your
like, well, if
time?
I can do that, I can do a half or a full marathon.
Do you remember your time?
It was 1:59.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
Sub 2 off 10 Oreos?
And I didn't even
Oh,
know what a sub 2 was. I was like, you run for like time? And I was like, this is competitive? Like, I thought
Oh,
people
God.
did it for
So
fun.
that's what I love so much about Dani, though. Like when you meet Dani, she's so sweet. You're kind of quiet, very demure, and then she's like this beautiful, graceful gazelle, and she's so fast. And it's like you don't realize sometimes how fast you are, and it's like just so impressive to watch. Anytime we see you at the marathon, mile 22, you always like look just like a little ray of sunshine. You're just like bounding through, and I'm like, everyone else looks like they want to just die
I mean, that's
right
how I
here.
felt on the inside, but on the outside.
Yeah.
No, there's a video of me, that my boyfriend and sister took, and it was like mile like 23, 24, and I was like, oh, just like jumping down, and it was just so much fun.
That's awesome. Also, other than everybody at this table, Danny actually got Christmas lights from me this year. So,
They
all
looked
you
great,
guys.
so thank you. They
Wow.
looked
Yeah.
amazing. I actually I wanted to keep them up longer, but I thought it would be frowned upon. Like,
You do whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, you can do what you want. It's your
But,
lights.
oh, yeah, they were beautiful.
Yeah.
I disagree. Come January, you got to take those down.
I mean, January 2nd, I was
parties
with people
over.
were-
We swing the Christmas tree from a Christmas tree into, then we decorate it for Valentine's Day. So we leave the tree up
I still have
past
3
Valentine's
trees
Day.
up.
3 trees.
go.
Yeah, I just take the lights off, and then it's just like a winter theme.
Just an outside in
Yeah.
kind of a, yeah.
I love
I know people who do that. I have
This
decorated.
hurts me on the inside.
I have
with
decorated
you,
those
Laura.
trees, those year-round trees. I've
Yeah.
decorated those trees.
They're beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do draw the line at a Halloween tree.
Nice.
I do.
Once again, that's the reason I introduced Laura first, is because no matter what, Laura and I see more eye to eye than most people believe. She's just quieter about it. And so she's not my favorite,
Wow.
right? Because at one point in time, I did tell people, okay, you're my favorite, or this is my favorite. But it caused rifts, right? It caused stresses, right? It caused problems. So now I just keep my favorites to myself, and I just have like a top 5, right? And you can make your way into the top 5, and you can make your way out of the top 5, right?
Is this the
table
top
top
5?
five?
Yeah.
Not even close. Not even freaking
Not
close,
even
right?
close.
4 of them.
There's 2 of them. There's 2 in the top 5 at this table. I'll tell you that right now.
Wow.
2 in the top 5, and I can guarantee that other side of the table isn't even in the top 10. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that is not true.
It's so true.
It actually
And it
probably
was
is
not
very
true until about 10 minutes ago when y'all felt it necessary for the entire group to gang up on me for being old and decrepit and injured. Dani.
Shouldn't race me, I guess.
Oh! Okay, all right, let's move on.
James needs to recover his ego.
No, I'm good. I actually love this. So one of the things when I first started as a coach was like my whole goal was to help people, right? That's really what I wanted to do. And I also wanted to learn for myself. I wanted to get better, right? And, at first I was doing like Ninja Warrior and then OCR, and I wanted to get better at that. And, it's really cool to see people improve and, get faster and everything. And I knew that there was going to come a time when eventually the people that I train, the people that I coach, that eventually they would be better than me. Like, I knew that was going to happen.
Did you know that they were also be the reason for your downfall and not for you to be able to run a full marathon?
No, I was the reason for my downfall because I was prideful, not because they were, fast, but because I was prideful and trying to prove a point, right? Because I had proven my point like 7 times in a row.
What's
right?
that quote?
So,
Something like pride before the...
yeah, before destruction, haughty spirit before fall. So the point I'm making is that I fell and that was my fault. But I love it because now, like, I'm seeing so many people that I coach or have coached that they are getting faster and stronger and they are better than me. So I am not intimidated that somebody's better than me, right? I'm actually very happy that Dani broke me that Sunday because my plan was to run with Jess,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that would have been very embarrassing for Jess to run a 3:08 marathon when she was planning on running a slower one than that, and me like limping in the last 3 miles with a 3:25, and her turning around saying, "What happened to you, James?" Right? So I think it was the Lord working on my behalf and using Dani to break me so that I wouldn't be embarrassed by Jess.
But either way, you were going to be broken by one of these women.
No matter what,
Yeah.
my downfall is always going to be women.
Yeah.
Yes.
Speaking of the marathon, so that
Tales
was
old
awesome.
time.
I wasn't there, but I got to witness it through online. I followed all you guys except for one didn't have to start that full marathon when I was watching.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I watched these two, and so this one was awesome because it was just like she's gonna.
She was
get-
freaking me out the
yeah.
whole time. I was like, oh
I
my
was
gosh,
like,
she's going too
gonna-
fast.
It said like her time she might hit is like she might get a 3:10. I was like, she's gonna get a 3:10, and she got a 3:08, which is awesome. She was also running with someone I was following. I'm not gonna say his name.
Yeah, because he didn't make it.
Well, he
I don't
was there-
coach him though, so it's fine.
They were running together, and then you see like they were like together for y'all were together for a while, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden you just see he's like half a mile behind, then like a full mile behind. He finishes like 20 minutes after you. That was awesome to see. Just to see how like you didn't let someone else besides you affect you. Like
Yeah.
someone else like you just kept going, and you looked like you destroyed it as well. It was
Yeah, after 20, I was like, we got to go.
I like it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
yeah, that was beautiful. It was awesome to see that online.
Not that they didn't do what they wanted to do, but that you kept pushing and you were able to.
Yeah.
That's what's awesome.
I was just happy that like at 20, like it was like the sun came out and the weather felt great, and I was like, there's that wall at 20 that everybody fears, and I'm like, am I gonna hit a wall, And at 20, I felt amazing. I was like, all right, we just gotta go. And 20 is where I feel the best.
Awesome. So I think like to kind of get us going in this is that because what I wanted to do when I reached out to you guys is I just wanted to talk a little bit about a couple things. Number one, your journeys, right? Your run journeys. Because so often I find that through social media and, even a lot of the big, like the Houston Marathon is one of them, a lot of the like big races like Ironman, stuff like that, you always see these awesome inspirational stories of people who struggle through life and, life sucks and, they got, half a leg or whatever and they overcome, right? And they finish. And those are great stories. I love those stories. But unless you're like elite status, I don't see a lot of times people celebrating like people going from like there's no problems, there's no issues, right? But yet they still are consistent, they move up and they go to a point of excellence, right? And so one of the things I wanted to like really talk to you guys about is like your run journey and how you went from being, decent at whatever it was you were doing to be excellent at it, right? And because I think excellence should be celebrated. When you do something amazing, when you do something great, I think people should learn about it because it can be an inspiration for a lot of people. And from that excellence, it's not like you guys all started and you weren't all elites, right? You're all like elite level now, but you weren't at one time. You were just normal ladies, right? I mean, what else do you want me to say?
No, that's great. Normal ladies.
Subnormal ladies? I don't know.
Everyday and your average woman.
Average Janes.
Your average Janes.
Okay. Well, y'all can continue to correct me this entire show. Please do. It's my favorite thing.
This is my favorite episode already.
Oh, my God. And this is why I didn't want them to be on the show.
Go ahead and bookmark this one.
Yeah, I'm excited. This is not one that's going to get played. So that I wanted to kind of celebrate and talk about that, but I also wanted to like talk about where you guys actually came from, right? Because you're all from 3 different completely backgrounds, right? So like Jess, like your first experience in athletics was what? Talk in the microphone.
My first experience in athletics, I played soccer when I was little, and then I played field hockey in high school. But
So how much track did you run in high school?
I avoided running actually. So
Really?
I wanted to be on the track team because my good friends were on the track team in high school, but I didn't want to run. So instead, I decided I would pole vault, which I was terrible at. So that didn't work out so great for me. But I did get to be on the track team and not actually have to run unless someone like wasn't able to run their race, and then I'd get thrown in for a random like 800 meter or 400 meter, which is not great if you haven't trained for that.
No.
So, but yeah, I just ran for fun and kind of started running more regularly in college just to stay fit. But I wasn't really serious about it until I started kind of doing races. So.
Actually, I think it was funny at the beginning of this season, right?
Yeah.
We did kind of a test.
Oh, yes.
A 1 mile test.
Yes.
Right? And I guess it's what started about your thought about maybe going back for your eligibility in college.
Right.
Right? Because you ran, what did you run for your mile?
5:25.
5:25.
God.
Right?
Which is it's faster than I ever thought I would ever run in
Right,
my
but
life.
you said you checked, right?
Yeah, that I would have actually been one of like the top female mile racers in my high school, which is hilarious because I always thought that I was slow in high school. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I'd run like I'd run in the 7s, I guess, but I was not. I mean, when people are running like a 5-minute mile pace, it's
Yeah. And you're a mom of 2
I'm a mom of 2.
with a full-time job.
Yes.
And you're grown.
Yes.
You're no child.
Right.
Right?
Right.
All right.
Yeah,
That's a
so
nice way of saying she's
I'm old.
an adult.
Yeah.
Right? I didn't say old. So Laura, you'll have to pull the microphone as well to yourself.
Yes, you will.
Okay.
There you go.
Your history, your experience in running, earliest experience, what?
Earliest experience, I ran casually in college just to like stay in shape, a mile or 2 here and there. But it wasn't until I moved out to California for work shortly after college and had a good friend out there who was a runner and convinced me to run the hot chocolate 15K. And I was like, there's chocolate?
runs,
Like,
yeah.
I'm in. We
Get
can
you
do
every
this.
time.
Got it. So we, casually trained, like nothing serious. And I loved the race atmosphere. I loved the chocolate at the end, obviously.
Who doesn't?
And then, like, having moved from Minnesota to California, the weather was always nice there. So I was like, okay, this is a great way to, like, get outside, explore some new areas, sort of figure out this new city I'm living in. And it's free because I was poor at the time. So there was that, too. And then it really just, I got hooked on, just kind of, like, chasing the next PR, realizing I was decent at doing it. And it also really fit into my lifestyle because at that time I was moving around a lot, traveling a lot, which I still love to do. And so it was great that like all I ever needed was a pair of shoes to stick with it.
Nice.
So.
I like it. So Dani, we kind of mentioned earlier, you were competitive from the very beginning. Since you came out of the womb, basically. You were running 400-meter sprints. But when you transitioned from high school, did you continue like
No,
running
after
still, or
high
what?
school, I didn't run at all.
Or-
I mean, I would run maybe like a mile or 2 if like I did a workout or something. Like I completely fell off of running. I didn't keep up with it at all. I would do cycling occasionally and then go to the gym, and that was it. My idea after high school of what running was is like running in your neighborhood. And if I ran like a mile, like that was great.
Yeah, it's a long way, yeah.
I didn't know people were running 5 or 10 miles out there. Like I had no idea. I just was running my neighborhood.
Nice. That's awesome. So I think the point is, number one, people see people like you because you're all Boston qualifiers, okay? And they're like, oh, they're just good at it. They're just naturally amazing at everything. And there is obviously some skills that you do have talent, right? But it's not like you've been doing this for your entire life. Many of you are pretty fresh to it, pretty new to it.
Right. I was gonna say too. I think it's funny, like when you're talking about your training for the half marathon. I remember the first half marathon that I ran. I had never run more than 6 miles in the first half marathon. So I remember running like past the 6 mile mark towards the 7 mile mark, and I was like having this kind of like excited but like absolutely scared feeling to where I was like, I've never run this far before. I have no idea what's going to happen.
What my body's gonna
Like,
do.
My legs are gonna just explode and fall off. Yeah.
So it's just so funny how far you come. And then like now in this marathon training cycle, like to watch other people kind of push into new areas and new boundaries and kind of experience that first time kind of hitting these miles. It's an exciting feeling. So
For sure. For sure.
That was how it was when I was doing the half marathon. I think it was like at mile 9, and I got like the chills all over me, and I just felt amazing. And I was like, "Is this like runner's high?" I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is great!" And I knew right then, I was like, "I definitely have to keep doing this. This is great. This is fun."
Yeah. I think that's the other thing that fascinates me so much about running in general is how it means different things to different people, how they experience the races or even the training differently. So like with Dani, it's like this magical freaking like
a unicorn.
emotional high
yeah.
goosebumpy feeling.
I
And
get
she's
teary-eyed when I run like
she's
a race.
frolicking through the freaking forest
You
or whatever.
notice for Dani, running is like for her what traveling in overseas is for me. Everything's magical.
Magical, yeah.
The
And you're
whole thing.
constantly frolicking and
Yeah.
just like just big eyes everywhere, right? Big precious moment eyes, right? For Jess, it's like she goes into this pain cave and she enjoys being in the pain cave, it seems like, and just like, what do you say? Last one, best one?
best one.
Last one, best one, right?
Yeah.
And then for Laura,
I'm somewhere in between, I guess.
she is, right? She likes having a good time.
Yeah.
She doesn't have to let necessarily hurt a lot, but she can hurt. She doesn't
Yeah.
mind. But I think the consistent thing is, even though for all three of you, it's like different experiences, different things you love about the sport. The one thing I would say that you are all like, the consistent thing about all three of you is the consistency, right? Building on it. You know, you guys talked about like your Oreo, debacle thing, the whatever. You broke every freaking rule
Yeah.
of the 5 golden rules, right? There. Same thing for you with yours, right? And same thing for you, right? But then the moment you guys kind of learned about like how to get better at running and everything, it's crazy how much you progressed, right? In a short amount of time, right?
We had a lot to learn.
Yeah.
My first half marathon was a Halloween half, and last minute I was trying to throw a costume together because I heard people dress up. And I wore a Christmas onesie as my Halloween costume
Nice.
and nearly died on the course because it
Were you a
was
little
hot.
hot?
I was like not free to move, and I don't
This
know
is
why
awful.
I stuck to it because after that it was, I didn't have the beautiful experience both of you did in your first half marathons.
Yeah, I just have nightmares of fleece and
Yeah.
Christmas trees.
It was that. Yeah, I got rid of that onesie, so I think it was.
That's like
the
a
best.
pre-race outfit maybe when it's cold
Yeah,
that you can peel off.
Yeah.
and then-
exactly.
yeah.
I see the things I didn't know.
Now you know, right? No one's half the battle,
Yeah,
right?
When y'all started running, did y'all think Boston was ever a goal?
absolutely.
Be
not.
honest, did you even know what that was?
Yeah.
No.
No.
I mean, I knew what I had heard of the Boston Marathon, but I didn't know what it was. I'm like, people ran. I didn't know how far. I didn't know what for. Like, I didn't know there was training involved. I just knew that there was a thing called a Boston Marathon, and people ran.
Do y'all
Yeah.
also even know about Captain Switzer?
Yeah.
Jess
No.
knows.
I've heard the story.
Here we go. That's what I'm talking about. I want to pave the way for you guys.
Oh my gosh.
She got
Paved
chased. She got
the
chased.
way.
They tried to chase her off the course.
They were
Yeah,
worried
they
about
did
her
try to chase
uterus
her.
falling out, guys.
I mean,
They were
It's a
trying
concern.
to save her,
It's a
her
concern.
innards.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have to dress like a man to run a sport,
The strange thing is that
dedication.
wasn't that long ago.
no, that's what is crazy. It was not.
That was like in the 60s, I think. It was not long ago.
Just so you guys know, that was like 70 years ago.
That's in the
not
grand
that
scheme
long
of
ago.
things, It's not that long ago.
Just, I mean, I'm
I mean,
just saying.
in the grand scheme.
Yeah.
Right.
It wasn't that long ago, but yet it was 70 years ago.
And James was born about a decade after that. So
Just one James lifetime. That's all.
One in James's lifetime.
Nice.
I do like that.
So, so you guys you're pushing yourself. I made a commitment, and y'all are like thin ice, right?
No, do you know what you told me beforehand?
What did I tell you beforehand?
You said, I'm going to tell everybody you're sitting on a booster seat.
No. I was worried that you wouldn't be able to be tall enough to sit at this table.
Yeah.
And I asked you if you wanted a booster seat.
Yeah, so I got I was mentally prepared last night to get ambushed and attacked by both you guys.
But I did it off air. I didn't even do it on air.
Can I just say this feels like karma has made full circle.
Yeah. The only
And-
problem is I can handle it, and I'm not going to go cry in the corner.
That's also true and fair. So yeah. So moving on back to our guests.
Continue.
So we met all three of you originally through Champions Run Association, right? That's
Yeah.
like how y'all
Yes.
all got started. How did y'all find the Champions group? Because we found y'all through there.
So I moved to Houston and was just looking for a running club because I wanted to just have people to run with. So I found the Champions Running Club. And actually, the first run I went on, I met Jess. It was a long run Saturday run. And when she said she was from Wisconsin,
Oh,
I
it
was
was
like,
bosom
oh,
buddies.
man. I was like, all right, come here, give me a
Yeah.
hug.
Did y'all immediately complain about the heat?
Actually, we might have. I don't remember what time of year it was.
And then
Yeah.
they talked about cheese.
Yeah.
Talk about
Exactly.
cheese.
It didn't take long to turn to cheese curds, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
Here we are. Yeah.
Nice.
Midwestern bosom buddies over here. So cute. And then Dani, we also met you.
Yeah,
through-
I found, so when I told myself I was going to run a marathon, I was like, all right, I have to do this the right way. I need to find like a running group because everybody I worked out with didn't run. It's like, if I'm going to do this right way, I need to find a group. So I went on Google the night before the Champions training started. So it was like in July. And at 8 o'clock at night, I signed up and they're like, oh, well, just come tomorrow morning. And I just showed up the next day and I met you that day.
Nice. Nice.
I have another question. What was your first impression of Coach James being in the marathon group?
Oh. Well, I don't know that I met you at a Champions running event. I think I like saw on Facebook then that you had a gym because I hadn't met you yet. And then I actually came to a class at the gym because it's literally around the corner from my house. And I don't know why I stuck around because the first day I came, not because you did anything wrong, but the first day I came, it was a Friday,
Yeah.
which is like boot camp. It's kind of a little something different. And we did abs for an hour. And I'm like, I think back at it, I'm like, I don't know what.
Class is only 45 minutes, dude.
Well, whatever.
So it couldn't have been an hour.
It was an hour.
And we warm up for like 10 to 15 minutes. It
Yeah.
was 30 minutes a core. Let's calm down.
But so the class was a little rough,
Mm-hmm.
but James made a great impression. And then I remember we just chatted afterwards and you were saying like, come in and do the little run assessment. And I'd never really thought about run coaching at all. I mean, I'd heard people do that.
So
but
I offered to do a run assessment. I didn't even charge you.
No, you just said like, hey, come, like if you want
I'm like,
to
you
talk
got a free
running,
assessment.
we can do this assessment. And then I came back a different time to do it.
Oh, I was just like, man, I am amazing.
I was about to say,
I
you're
can't
so
believe- I must
nice.
have really liked you to offer that for
we scheduled
free.
it and came back.
Oh, okay. Now I feel bad.
But no, the point being is just I thought only like elite people had coaches.
Yeah,
I didn't
sure.
really realize that's something the average runner could do. And so I thought, well, what the heck, we'll give it a shot.
And look at you now.
And look at me now.
How about
Yeah.
how about you two ladies?
I met you so the first day, and I stuck around afterwards, and you were talking about how you were coaching, and you just seemed like you wanted people to be better, and all the people that you coached, you wanted them just to be better runners for who they are and not for potentially what they could be. But so I like that approach about you, and I just knew I needed a running coach, and I was like, well, he seems cool.
That's so sweet.
Bring you back up,
See?
James.
Yeah. See?
You tear me out.
Yeah, bring it back up. You gotta bring it back up.
So good. Jess, it's your turn.
Tell me about me. Tell me about me. So I guess backing up, I originally resisted the marathon group.
Why?
I did not want to run a marathon. So when I first found Champions, I actually found it because I had met a member of Champions on the start line of one of the Houston half marathons. I was chit-chatting, and that's how I got over to Champions. But I was in the half marathon group, and I had no desire to run a marathon whatsoever. Actually, people were, oh, you should run a marathon. Oh, you should join the run the marathon with the group. And I'm like, no, I really don't want to do that. I didn't feel like I had the time for it. And but yeah, I finally joined the group, and I think I don't have a specific memory of like joining the marathon group and relative to your coaching there. But what I will say is one that sticks with me is when I did the Sunday Fun Day for one of the first times. And you told me to run with you and Tommy. And for me, that was like such a confidence booster. At first, I was like, there's no way I can't run with you guys. Like I'd watched you do one of your 800s or something. And I'm like, I can't do that. And you're like, no, run with us the next one. And I just felt like that was such I think, back to Dani's point, I think that's something that you do where it's like, it's so inclusive and just like come along and then let me show you that I believe in you and like believe in what you're capable of. And to me, that's been something that's been really impactful as I've continued on this running journey. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna cry. That was good.
yeah.
Well, I mean, honestly, one of the things that, when I first started BC Fitness, and even the YouTube channel or what have you, I'm going to be completely transparent about the YouTube channel. I started that because people were getting a bunch of free shoes, and I figured if I can make videos and get free
Are
shoes.
we getting free shoes today?
No.
Yeah, you can pick a pair off the wall right behind you.
Yeah. Really when I started, it was about trying to help people and learn some of the stuff that had really helped me, because I'd realized that, if you do anything, anything's better than nothing, right? So if you're out running, you're doing something, right? And you're going to be healthier, you can get stronger, what have you. But I felt like I had wasted a lot of time in my prime, what have you, not doing the right things, right? And overtraining, working too hard, and not getting like the right kind of results, I guess, or the kind of results I might have been capable of doing.
True.
And so I really wanted to try to help people not make those same mistakes, right? And so there's nothing more rewarding than, pouring into people and seeing them be successful, right? And seeing them do well and, even far exceed maybe what your expectations are, right? And so the cool thing is, when you see, like with you, Jess, I'd heard about your half marathon, I think is what it was. And I was like, dude, this chick's freaking fast. Because it was faster than my half marathon. I've only ran one in my entire life that I tried to run fast, right? Which is weird because I ran like 5 marathons, right? But I was like, dude, this chick's faster than I am. And then you came out, and then you didn't think you were that fast, right? And I was like, just freaking run with this, dude. You're gonna probably smoke us anyway. Honestly, that's what I was thinking in the back of my head. I was like, she's gonna like lull us in this false sense of security, and then she's gonna crush our wills at the end, right?
That's what she's doing now. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So, seeing you out there, and then everything I said do, like you did, right? Like there wasn't like a challenge that I like put in front of you that you weren't able to conquer, right? Or to level up to. So, I think sometimes it takes somebody to see something in you that you can't see in yourself, right? So it's always, I think, easier for other people to see greatness or good in you than it is for you to see it yourself. But once you get a hold of it, I think that's the amazing thing, right? So I think I was telling somebody, I think last week, I was like, if you don't like yourself, it's hard to have other people like you, right?
Right.
But if you don't believe in yourself, then it doesn't matter what other people say or believe about you, nothing's going to happen, right? Because you won't have that confidence in it. So.
True.
So that's one of the things that I appreciate about a lot of my athletes is that, it's a relationship that we build, right? And yes, I'm trying to give you information, trying to help you and coach you, but there's also like elements of us having a good time and laughing and, we're doing this all, together. So, it's so exciting to see you guys, how you've grown and how you've gotten better. So, and I appreciate that about y'all, that you put in the work, right? And so, I didn't do anything. Y'all did all the work.
I mean, yeah, it's the beautiful part about them being here.
Yeah.
So you got 5 people here you coach. Well, 4.5.
3 and
Yeah.
3.5, yeah.
Yeah. But like these are the ones who like they submit, they do the work, and they get it done, of course. But y'all like all do it. Like you all do what you say. You go out there, you run, you wake up early, or you do it in the evenings, whatever time you get it done. I'm a part of all the running. I feel like I have made it to Boston as well. She was my partner on Sunday Fun Day.
She was.
I see her in the neighborhood running. Hi, Laura.
Yeah.
Hey, lady.
Yeah.
I see her. And then Dani, I got her Christmas lights set up. And then so all that, I lighten up her Christmas, made her bright and make her feel good to go get that marathon in.
Yeah.
So I'm a part of all this marathon, so it feels
Y'all are
good.
so funny and so cute, stealing the microphone from each other. Yeah. It's awesome.
I think, though, that's something that's neat is like running. You think of running, you think of it as a very individual thing.
Yeah.
And I think when you start running, you're like a little lost. You don't really know what you're doing. You find a training plan online. You don't know anything about a run club. And once you get into it, it's like you do need people to guide you, to show you how to do things, to like learn from, to believe in you, like you said. And then at the end of the day, running really is a community sport too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Logging all the miles we logged to train for this. I mean, doing that by yourself would be arduous. Not that
yeah.
you don't run it by yourself sometimes, but you need that camaraderie and you need to learn from each other and encourage each other and.
Yeah. I mean, I was rooting for you guys here at church. I was online
Yeah.
looking like, you got it. You're going to do it. I was getting hyped. I was excited. I wasn't even there.
Yeah. We solve all kinds of problems. Like we have all kinds of debates,
Yeah,
personal
we do.
talks. We've gotten down and dirty on our long runs.
We do.
People have cried. I've made people cry.
You have. Yes.
Made Lauren cry. Let's be specific. It's not people. It's just Lauren. She's the only one that
just
ever
me.
cries.
It's just me. It's always me. But no, the runs definitely are like special moments because whether you're kind of like talking through like things you're going through as an athlete or at home, like it just gives people a time to like really come together in something you like feel passionate about and just completely belong to a community, and you're all working together, you're pushing each other, you're there for the good days, the bad days, the best days, those PRs, and those are like really special. And like Rocky said, like it's like Rocky also is going to Boston now, but he like when we get to see the people we spend so much of our time with and get to see like all the work you put in, like it's really special. Like watching Laura at the marathon last Saturday, I got so emotional. I'm gonna cry now thinking about it. I gotta
God.
hand the mic back.
Don't start.
Lord
Don't
have
start.
mercy.
Okay, James, take over.
So actually, I want to be like. So I think sometimes in our culture today, if you say somebody did something good, then it automatically means everybody else sucks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily the case, right? So just because something happened over here doesn't mean that it lessens the accomplishment of someone else. But I think one thing that stood out to me, so Laura was supposed to run the Houston Marathon with you guys. And much like myself, something just crazy happened. Literally, it was like Thursday.
Yeah, I started feeling sick Thursday, and I was like down for the count.
And was
for
like in the
3
ER
days
like the
before-
next
yeah.
day, right?
Yeah.
And so she didn't get to run the marathon, right? And so, you know, I know you were a little upset about it, right?
Yeah.
And you had shared some stuff with me, and I was like, you really did that? I was like so surprised. I was like, I can't imagine you doing that.
Yeah, I had one good cry about it.
Yeah.
James didn't think I cried, but I do. I am
I didn't
human.
even know you had tear ducts, to be honest with you. And but then I was like, you'll have another opportunity, something. And she's like, you know what, I'm gonna run the Sugarland. And I was like, go for it, no big deal. Yeah, you've had the time. She's like, well, I was a little concerned about whatever. And I was like, dude, you just had an extra week taper. You'll be fine, right? But the Sugarland Marathon is completely different than the Houston Marathon,
It
right?
is.
You don't have any spectators.
Oh my gosh. And the course loops. It's a 13-mile loop.
Yeah.
And not that you do twice,
Yeah.
obviously. But then it's not only just a loop, it's like an out and back loop.
Okay.
So, you know, you're seeing people, like you're passing it on both sides. So I went into it being like, yeah, this is going to be a totally different mental game. Because, like you said, no spectators, you're looping. I knew it was a much smaller race, so it's just not going to be that many people out there in general. So I was worried about that, but it worked out.
You went out and crushed it, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes I think about it. So I think originally when we talked, I want to say earlier in the season, and you were like, I want to run the marathon. Your goal was to qualify for Boston, right? Because we had talked about it in the past about I feel like you could do that, right? And I don't even think it was really on your radar when we first started talking.
No, not until
You
you planted the seed.
Right? And I think that was just what was the time that you needed to run?
3:30 was
3:30.
yeah, the
Okay.
original goal.
And then I think sometime around December, maybe November, I was like, maybe you could run a little faster than that.
Because I kept going too fast on my
Because every
my
run,
training runs.
she was running too fast. But like looking at the data and looking at the efforts, like what she was running justified it. She could do it, so she wasn't running too fast, right? And so we were like, let's switch to 325 because I think you got it in you, right? So and you ended up running what?
3:23.
323.
Yeesh.
Yeah. So, which just so you know, that's faster than Rocky's ever ran
Yes.
Oh.
in a marathon.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, what'd you do for your first half in that?
Let's not worry
My-
about that because you were.
I beat her in the
you,
first half.
You
Let me
ran
just-
4 hours for the second half of that marathon, so let's calm down.
Just accept it, Rocky.
Yeah,
Just
it's okay, man. She's a seasoned professional. But you actually ran it faster than my first half marathon, or my first marathon as well. So this is what number for you?
2. It was my
So
second.
you already beaten my first one. So
Yeah.
I'm already beneath you.
Yeah, no, it was, I mean, the whole experience was amazing. And I think just all that much sweeter because of what had happened at Houston. And
Yeah.
it felt like this, like, redemption.
Yes.
To get back out there, still do it, you know, still shoot my shot. And yeah, you know, I thank God I had Lauren there because I think I got into this cadence out on the course where it was like I'd run a couple miles alone, then there'd be like a water station with a few spectators. And then I'd see Julian because my husband was there. So then I'd see him and wave to him because he was waiting at the dog park with the dog that was like right next to the course. And then Lauren would pop in and run 3 miles with me. And then it was kind of like just kept doing that.
Yeah.
So actually it went by really fast and it didn't feel like a long, arduous loop like I anticipated it would. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I saw you, the first time I met you was like at mile 8, I think.
Yeah.
And you looked great. Like she looked solid. She looked happy. She was waving. She was chatting, and I was like, "Stop talking so
Yeah,
much.
you were like,
focus.
"Don't speak."
Don't talk to him so much. You're just focus." And every time I saw her, you looked great. You following the step. Your pace was right where they needed to be. You weren't falling, like your posture wasn't kind of starting to go. And I think it was around like mile 20, I just saw the ever so slightest amount of like your facial expression kind of change. I was like, we're starting to get there.
Yeah.
And then I left you and I was like, I'll see you at the end. You've got this.
So
And
when you
sure
were hurting
enough,
most, she abandoned you.
Yeah.
That's what I
Well,
just heard.
I got her through the
No.
last like mile.
Yeah, no, she came back to me at like mile 25, something like that. But I don't know that I ever really hit a full wall, but yeah, I definitely was feeling it. Like 22, 23, I was like, okay, I really got to dig deep here to get through to the end.
And I
No,
feel
you
like
look great.
honestly, if you prepare properly for a marathon, and I think that's kind of all three of you could probably say the same thing, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So say yes in the
Yes,
microphone so people
yes.
can hear you. Okay. But you had a point where you were uncomfortable. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
For sure.
Okay. But you didn't slow down. You pushed through, and I think all of y'all were faster. You did negative splits, right? You ran the
Yeah.
last half faster than the first half. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you train properly, that's how it should be. You should hurt, but you're only hurting because you've been running for 3 hours or 2 hours or whatever it is, right?
And you've trained
So-
yourself to do that. I think that's the amazing thing, and maybe that's my kind of sadistic love of the pain cave. Is
Yeah.
I love the fact that you can get yourself to a mental place where you're okay with that. Like you know it's coming. And I think that's in like the build up to it. Like the week before the marathon, I get to that point where I'm like, oh my gosh, it's going to happen and it's going to hurt so much. But then the day of, I'm like, okay, it's going to be fine because we've done this. Like we've trained for this. We've had runs that have hurt. We've had track days where it's hurt and it's been 112 degrees. And you just feel like you want it to be over, and we did it. And I think that's just the coolest thing about the whole experience.
Yeah.
I
That was
think
a
that's-
weird thing about Jess. Oh, you go.
I was gonna say, I think that's why I get so excited when I finally get to 20,
Yeah.
because I'm hurting up to 20, and then I get to 20, and I'm like, I'm gonna be okay.
Yeah.
And I'm like, now I can go. Now I can go fast.
That's
I'm
also
like,
weird.
you know, because I'm very conservative.
Yeah.
And then I get to 20, and I'm like, okay, I was conservative enough. Now I can really like go fast.
Yeah, I got to 15. And I was like, I'm ready to quit. Yeah, that hurt. But yeah, Jess on Sundays, it would be sucky workouts, and she'd be smiling. Yeah. We'd finish, peace. Still in a
Yeah.
good mood, still doing her thing. I'm like, gosh, dog.
Yeah. Well, I
Last
think
one,
that's-
best one, and
Yeah.
Rocky's like, I'm gonna kill you.
I think that's one of the best thing about the training. If you're consistent, and what helps by training with the group is that number one, sometimes the group will help you like go beyond what you think your limits are. And then it holds you accountable as well, right? So, there's definitely workouts, like some of those workouts we did, like some of the speed efforts and stuff, where if you did them by yourself, it may have looked way different, right? You may have done one less set, or that last set may have been slower, but having that group there kind of helps like encourage you to push on, so that when you are by yourself, you're like, hey, I've already done this. I know I can do it. Why give up, right? And then when you get in the race and you start feeling the way you felt before, I've been here before. It's nothing new. This isn't a surprise. Like Jess said, I knew it was coming, and you've developed the ability to kind of push through that and keep going. And I think that obviously it's awesome to go out and run PRs and have big accomplishments and stuff like that. But I think more than anything, what it does, it teaches you a lot about life. It teaches you a lot about how to like take that kind of stuff and like apply it to like your work stuff, right? And the stresses that happen with Jess, you're a mom of like 2 kids, right? Laura, you're
They're
a
all
mom
moms.
of
They're all-
what?
They're all moms, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, she's a
Dog
mom of a
mom.
dog.
Yeah, dog mom.
And she's like,
We still put the work in.
you're a cat person, right?
I have a cat and a dog.
Yeah, so I'm still,
Thanks for another
Yeah.
podcast.
My
Danny's
I-
right there with me.
yeah. That's
We
why you're not in the
rescue
top
cats
5. It's
together
just-
during our
not your
run.
fault.
Yeah, during our run.
We have a special bond like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
No cat left behind.
No cat left
Leave 'em all.
behind.
Yeah.
They
Leave 'em all.
like to be
Behind. Yes. Yes. See what I'm saying?
And that's why y'all sync up on
the
that.
street
See what I'm
cats are
saying?
living their
We'll
best life.
stick together. Yeah. on that.
Yeah, that's fine. So, but I really do appreciate about training is that it's, obviously there's a physical element to it, but there's so much emotional and mental, right, that goes into, the discipline of training and being with it. So I say it all the time. You guys tell me, what was harder? Running 26.2 and qualifying for Boston, or the 6 months leading up to
The
qualifying for Boston?
training, for sure.
Yeah, the training.
The training, right? So that when you
Time.
got to the race, when you got time for the day of the event, like pretty much all of y'all, what was your experience? Just
The day of?
quick synopsis. What was the day of? What was your experience
Oh,
overall?
I
What
mean,
would you say?
I realized during the run, I was like, this is my race. I love the marathon because it's long, but I can still run fast. I love running the marathon. I will continue to do it. Like this is my race.
Okay, so you were giddy, jumping around.
Yeah, I was very happy.
She was a unicorn, per
Clowning.
usual.
She really was.
I saw her at mile 8, and she was behind a couple of guys, and
I filmed
she
the
had
whole
her
thing.
camera out, and she was behind them doing this.
Yeah. I was like, I'm getting really good video of you
Yeah,
guys.
she's literally looking at the camera running like this. I'm like, what are you doing?
Because I like to look back and relive it over and over and
I'm
over
the same
again.
way.
It's so much fun.
She recorded her way to Boston.
She did. She was like, yeah, this chick ran with like 4 people out on the course, like watching her, right? That's it, right? And she was in the ER a week before.
Yeah,
right?
no, Lauren was a great Sherpa out there on the course.
Yeah.
I try.
Just
I do
crushing
try.
it. This one, she came around mile 8, and I'm serious. She was looking like you look like you're running so fast. Like
I really
honestly,
did.
forget the fact that I was watching your pacing, but when you came around that corner, your smile and your face and your mannerisms, you were so.
You were so full of like life and energy. It was almost like, dear heavens.
Yeah.
we're
I
out.
felt like I was flying. Like I honestly, that was what was so cool about that race, and I hope I have the opportunity to feel that way again. But I felt like I was being propelled forward.
Yeah.
At that point, I felt so good, and I felt great for the whole race. Yeah, I loved it.
So I think that's the thing that people like don't think about is, or don't really realize is that, yes, the marathon is hard. To do the marathon is hard. It's not easy. But like running it and suffering the entire time is usually because you didn't do the hard part, and that's prepare for it properly, right? So you guys did that and you prepared, and so it was like this completely different experience for you guys. And people are looking at you like, oh, they're just gifted. Oh, they're just good. That's just what it is, right? But really, you guys put in the consistent efforts, right? And even when you had those not so consistent things, those times, what have you, or you're dealing with whatever, you still were pretty daggum consistent, right? And because of that, it paid off big time.
Well, I feel like you have to fall in love with the process, especially for marathon training. I think I felt that way with other, half marathon training too, but especially for marathon training, you have to fall in love with it. You have to, not that every day is going to be rainbows and roses, but the process you enjoy. Like you enjoy the challenges. I felt like this marathon training I did much better in terms of like being consistent about Sunday fun days, being consistent with Tempo Tuesdays, and made it into a thing. Like that was just kind of what I did. And I had to adjust some weeks when I was traveling or, had other work commitments or home commitments or whatever, but it's the process. You've got to love the process. Otherwise you're not going to put in the work that you need to.
Right.
I'll be honest, loving the process is really hard. Like getting up at 4 a.m., I don't want to do that. I don't want to get up at 4 a.m. before I have to go to work to run.
And I was going to say, I feel so bad about this every time. Because me and Laura will go meet for morning run sometimes, and Danny's like, oh, yeah, we should all go run. I'm like, yes, let's all go run. And Danny comes back with, yeah, I start at 4:30, and Laura and I just go silent.
We're like, no, thank you.
"Ooh, that's a little before my wake-up call.
Yeah. But then that means I just have to be in bed earlier. And
Like at 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Up by 4, in bed by 4.
Yeah.
But that's why she looks so great all the time. So that's why
Yeah.
she's so happy and full of energy. You get the great sleep.
Yeah, I do. I try to get really
You do
sleep.
usually have a glow about you.
You do.
Like
do.
like
It's the sleep.
always, you're just shining all the time, and it really ticks me off. Right? So it's okay though.
Well, so we mentioned, falling in love with you have to love the process. You put in all this work, but I want to know, from other athletes, what was probably the hardest part? Because we talk about people following plans, whether or not people are good at following plans. You've got to stick with these plans. You create these plans for a reason, and you talk about you got to go slow to get fast, 80-20. What was probably the hardest part about following these race plans that you're giving? Jess, you love to go fast. So I have a feeling I know what your answer is going to be. But what was one of the hardest things about sticking to these plans for you?
I feel like the hardest part for me in just learning all that I'm learning about running and have learned from James is understanding my body and learning those little tweaks, because running slow was difficult at the beginning. I've gotten better at that I kind of know now my easy pace, but I still have days where it's even at that easy pace, my heart rate's not where it should be. And I'm learning often how to adjust that and not get frustrated with it, because I think those are those little tweaks are so frustrating to me. That's oh, yesterday I did this exact same thing and it worked. Why isn't it working today?
Yeah.
So yeah, that'll be a continuous process. I mean, I've come a long way, but it's still something that I find myself. It's just stick to it, Laura. Don't get mad at yourself. And I'm always trying to come up with a reason, like why? Why is it different today? You know, I feel like I have to have a justification,
Yeah.
but sometimes there just isn't. So,
I mean, there is.
but we'll
Your
never,
body could be tired. You didn't get good sleep the night before. You ran
could be.
hour-long track session the day before. You know, there's a lot of different reasons
Yeah.
why. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think, and you said this to me in the beginning too, like trusting the process. Like, because you would tell me you need to slow down. And because I didn't know anything about running, I told you you were like, yo, you need to pick your cadence up. You need to work on that. And I'm like, I literally will be walking if I go any slower. And you were like, well, you got to go slower. You got to work on your cadence. And so you're like, just do what I'm telling you to do. And then I got the time that we had talked about, and I was like, oh, well, you were right.
Yeah.
Did that make you so happy?
No, not really. Dani is like when coaching people, I usually feel like sometimes I'm like just throwing information and hoping that some of it sticks, right? And most of the time I say the same things over and over again. Eventually I'm assuming that it'll just like all be saturated in, right? So I usually give too much information when I'm like going in our meetings, especially that first meeting. I know people are just like cross-eyed. It's just like, I made a mistake, right? But Dani wants all of the information. Like she asks questions nonstop,
Yeah.
right? And like, let's say, you know, so usually when I do a training session, like we do our meeting, it's supposed to be an hour long, right? I don't think I've ever had an hour meeting with Dani once. Most of the time they're like an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes. She doesn't even like think about it. Like I'm looking at my watch, like we've been talking for an extra 30 minutes. Stop asking me questions. And she just
I'm like, well,
got
so
more.
I have a question.
Yeah, there it is. That's it right there. That's exactly how she says it.
I usually go into the meeting, I'm like, I know he's going to talk, but I have these questions I've been thinking about since the last time we talked that I just want to know the answers to.
Yeah.
I like to just know things, whether it pertains to what I'm going to do now or later or whenever.
But I honestly
wanna know.
appreciate that about you because you're trying to learn the process, right?
Yeah.
You're trying to learn about it. And so, you know, I like it. Actually, I enjoy that, right? Because most of the time I feel like people are just like, nah, he says one thing, but I'm going to just go and do what I want to do anyway.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, my grandfather used to say, girl, you're so hard-headed. So I'm going to listen to you, but I
wanna know
might still not do that.
No, I know.
But because I need to learn my own way. And my own way is usually the hard way. And then that way, I'll learn after that. Yeah.
So, like, it's back. So, once again, like, different dynamics, right? The more I coach people, the more I realize how different people are, but still how similar most people are, right? So, you mentioned if I go any slower, I'm going to be walking, right? Do you know how many times I've heard that?
Yeah.
Like, on a daily basis. And I'm like, well, actually, you can go much slower before you walk, okay? Just so you know. But, like, so Laura loves to be told or given a roadmap. She wants to know Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. What is she doing?
I have to have a plan.
She wants the plan. In fact, after she did a half marathon. And so explain what happened after your half marathon. What were the instructions given to you?
So the instructions were, as usual, recover, like run when you want to and don't run when you don't want to.
So I didn't put anything on her plan.
And there was nothing on my plan. So I was just left to my own devices.
Yes.
And I couldn't not run.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I just have to do whatever.
am I gonna
so
do?
I basically just mimicked like,
The week, like she
I
ran
don't know if it was
44
the week
miles
prior,
or
but
something
that
another
week. I was like, well, this is what I've been doing, so I'll just do this.
And then the next week after that, she's like, man, I don't know why I'm so tired.
That's why my heart rate was high.
I was like, well, Laura, you just ran a half marathon really, really fast, and you didn't take a break afterwards, right? So she wants the everyday kind of guidance or what have you. She wants to know why she needs the everyday guidance, right? And then Jess is like this.
Stallion.
What did we say yesterday?
Filly.
A filly.
Filly's in the barn.
Philly.
She's a filly. She's just this wild filly, like just wanting to frolic and run fast.
You can't put her in the barn.
And she's like, so what are you doing, James?
Tell me what you're going to do, and I'm going to do just a
There
little
it
bit
is.
more.
Right there. So
I actually would like, as opposed to you giving me my plan, I'd like you to give me your
that's
plan.
what. That's it. Yes. She's like, what speed work are you doing? How much mileage are you running? So what's your marathon
That's
pace,
like
James?
I'm just curious. I'm just
I'm
curious.
just curious
I
how
just
fast I
wanna
need to
know.
crush your spirit. Right? So the dynamics are all different, but the results still. And so that's the thing about being a coach is that you've got to kind of learn each person how they're a little bit different and like what the little nuances are, and you got to work on how to convince them, right, to listen, right? So, but I appreciate about you guys that you put in the work, and even though sometimes some of you are more of a challenge than others, whoever you may be. You're all still a joy to work with, right? You're all still very, very enjoyable to work with. So, go ahead. You were about to say
I was
something.
gonna say thank you.
Not you. He also suckles at the teat, but his is completely different.
Rocky, he's never talking about you and me in that respect.
Yeah.
Ever.
No.
No.
I want to, honestly. That is my desire. Like, if I could get you two,
To have any of these.
take some of this
Some
that
of
they're,
this?
you guys, oh my God. Like, the sky, honestly, is the limit.
Until I have a panic attack.
But you wouldn't have the panic attack
Oh, no.
because you'd be fully
Until
prepared.
someone says something nice to me.
Oh, God. See what I'm saying?
Boy.
Oh, boy. Thus my life. So, here's the question I have. You've done all this wonderful stuff. You're running Boston, right? You're running this year, right? Because you actually technically qualified for the first time last year.
Yes, and what I'm really afraid of. There's two things I'm afraid of. One is getting to the start line at Boston this year. Really, the logistics, not actually just getting to the start line, but logistically, how do you get to that start line? So I got to figure that out.
Maps. Yeah.
And
There will
then
be someone there to direct you.
and then what I'm really worried about is that these two are going to go next year, and they're going to be like, we should go to Boston.
Then you'll have to go again.
Then I'll have to go again. That is the tricky thing about
But
marathon.
you'll have known it by then.
The marathon is one where it's like you kind of get roped into this like cycle.
It's
And
deadly. Yeah, it's vicious.
It's like, wow, now I qualified for New York. Do I run New York? I mean, and then they're going to ask me to run Boston, and then it'll be like, I thought I was doing one marathon. That's what I signed up
Yeah.
for. But anyway, what was your?
That's why I didn't qualify for Boston. That's why I didn't.
You don't
try.
want
Because
to
you'd
get
have to
roped.
run it.
Yeah, you don't want to
Yeah.
get roped into that.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
It's a vicious cycle.
I get it. I
That's
get
a
it.
great
No, but
loop.
we need Jess to always be one step ahead so that she's like scoping out these races. And then
Yes.
next year when we go to Boston, whether you want to run it or not, you still come along and you
Right.
tell us how to
Yeah.
get to the start line.
That's right.
So
I'll figure it out.
yeah,
We're gonna need a tour guide.
We
Yeah.
could do a Run
Yes.
with James road trip.
I've already put myself in the plans.
Yeah.
I know I've literally already said, so when are we all going to Boston?
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be in April when
I'll
they
be a
run it.
Sherpa.
Yeah.
I'm really good at being a Sherpa. I'll have a bell.
Yeah, nice. So, so the big question I have is, what's next? Like, I know obviously you're doing that, but like, so what are you planning on? Like, what's your next big thing you're going to conquer, right? Because usually after a race, what do? We talk about, you know,
Next
what's
race.
the next thing? What's the next? Not next race goal. What's next? What's the
next?
next thing you're gonna? So that you don't like just fall off, right? You always want to focus on something else. What's the next challenge or growth experience?
So I have already signed up for a spring marathon. I'm doing.
She obviously didn't talk to me about
You
that.
did sign up for it.
I did,
Oh,
yeah.
good.
So it's Mountains to Beach in Ojai, California, and it's a Boston qualifying course. It's a PR course. It's really fast, and I really want that because my A goal was different than what I ran my marathon in, and qualifying for Boston was great. I'm so happy about that. But and like I told you, I had a time in mind.
That she just pulled out of thin air, but it's
I
okay.
did, and you said, "Well, if you don't get that time, will you be upset?" And I said, "No."
Yes.
Yes. So I did not get that time, and I want that time, and so I'm signed up for another marathon, and I'm gonna get that time.
Yeah, when's that marathon?
April.
Laura?
well, the next thing is High Rocks Houston
Hi, Rocks.
with
Sorry, I don't know why I
hashtag
guess
Team
that's
Low
it.
Runs.
Yep.
Friends.
And so that'll be the next thing. And then running wise, I don't really know yet. I mean, I definitely want to do Houston next year. But that's a long ways away. I have a couple half marathons I'm eyeing up this summer and fall.
There's that festival you mentioned.
Yeah, there's like a trail running festival. I don't know. I always have
The
something
sky's
that
the
I'm
limit.
that I'm eyeing. I mean, I definitely want to do more marathons, but I think the half is still my preferred distance.
Yeah.
I love that half.
The half is a good distance because it's long enough to be a challenge, but it's short enough that you know you're not going to die.
Yes.
Yeah,
love the
like
marathon.
you're not going to like
And you don't have to consume your whole life to training.
Exactly.
Only a little bit of it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Right. The training is less intense for sure.
I actually do like the idea of going after another like a half marathon PR. 'Cause I really thought I could have gotten a new PR at the half marathon and the Houston half this year in October, but it was ridiculously warm and that didn't happen. So, of course, that's an excuse, but it really was pretty hot.
It's a reason, not an excuse.
I think that I could do a lot faster on the half marathon. And I do think that it's nice that it doesn't take up so much of your time to train, and it's nice that you get to train speed. Like I like to train that kind of upper end of my speed capability, so I think that's cool. I also thought about in this summer there's a half Ironman distance in my kind of back in Wisconsin, in my stomping grounds up there. So
I was gonna say, it's
take
not
it to
gonna
the
be one in
streets.
Texas.
Take it, yeah, no,
Yeah.
not in Texas in July. So I don't know. That's kind of something I've considered, but yeah.
You should.
Well, you already have the biking.
So
Running, so.
when Lauren gives you advice on what to do, you don't listen to it.
Immediately turn
Okay? Don't do it. If she says you should
No,
do
that
it.
was me clapping because I have a mic in the
Yeah, no, I
that
get
was
it.
me
No.
clapping.
No. I'm not telling you shouldn't do it, but if she
But
said
if
to
she
do it,
says
we probably want to like
reconsider.
dive deeper into it
Yeah.
because her choices on race selections are not always the best.
I disagree. But what I am going to say is I just want to work. My goal for 2
Yeah.
of these 3 ladies
Amen.
is high rocks,
Word.
doubles,
Yeah.
right here.
Yes,
2 little blondies.
I agree.
Be so great.
I agree.
Be
Be
so,
so great.
awesome.
So here's one of the things that I think I should say before we kind of get close to wrapping this up is, I also, usually people come to me with goals, right? And sometimes people are like, well, what do you think I should do? Right? And so it's hard for me to give you a goal, right? And tell you, because it's not, your motivation isn't my motivation, right? But I am going to give you guys some things that I'm going to just toss these out. I'm going to plant a seed.
High rock.
All right, we're ready.
It's time for planting some seeds.
Oh my
Okay, I'm
gosh,
going
I'm
to start
so
with
excited.
Jess. Okay, and she's heard me say this before. I've told it to plenty of people, but Jess, I believe you could qualify for the Olympic trials. Honestly, I do.
Amen.
I really do think that. Obviously, you'd have to run more mileage, a little more experience. There's no doubt in my mind, though, you could run fast enough to qualify for the ladies' Olympic trials. Just tossing that out there. Take it, leave it. I don't really care. It doesn't matter to me, except that you should do it.
I've always wanted to know an Olympian.
Yeah.
Yes,
Me too.
so-
Oh, I have that.
I train with an Olympian.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, so one of the things that people don't take into account is, like, when you're improving. So oftentimes you think as you get older, you should get, like,
Right.
worse, right? But it has a lot to do with your exercise history, your training history, your knowledge and all that stuff. So you can continue to improve, especially at the longer distances. And I think, and there's been some studies that have shown that actually the longer the distance, like, the older people are that are doing really well. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because you lose more of that top end speed.
Right.
I think yes, and that does make a lot of sense.
But I think, and this is just a opinion, I think a lot of it has to do with you learn how to like mentally keep pushing yourself, right? You've learned how to like struggle for a long period of time, right? And then on top of that, if you've been training, you have a very high aerobic engine.
Right.
And like marathons and half marathons are very aerobic specific events, right? Not so much like the 5K and 10K events. So, I think you have like such an upside still because you're still new to
Right.
running really for the most part, especially to marathon training and longer distances. So like your upside, in my opinion, is still so high, right? So just planting that's one seed. So hold on, I got another one for you.
That's a good one.
Right,
That is a good
Laura.
one, though.
Okay, no doubt in my flipping mind, you're gonna get faster, right? And you'll be faster than me because, whatever.
You already are.
'Cause his hamstrings hurt.
Quad. But like one thing I think that you could be really, really, really good at is more things like high rocks and like OCR, right? You haven't even touched OCR. You don't even know what that's about. But you could be amazing in OCR, I think. But high rocks specifically, right? As a team, okay? So don't you dare try to turn this and make this negative about you. But as a team, for sure, there's no doubt in my mind you guys can qualify. But even as an individual, I think you could go out and crush like by yourself.
I
right?
fully agree.
Right.
I know you would crush it.
Yeah.
You are so fast and you're so much stronger than you give yourself credit for because I see that in training and you've got this kind of like how she likes the pain cave, but you've got this like real sweet way of like saying, oh, well, it is what it is. We're just going to get through it. It is, we'll be fine. And
Yeah.
so you've got what it takes to do it. And I really think
I got to learn to like the pain cave a little bit more, I think.
Lauren,
But-
next time you say that in the mirror.
Dani, what's Dani's seed?
Dani, obviously you are a natural born runner, right? So some people are natural born killers. Seen that movie? You're a natural born runner, okay? You do look like a gazelle, right? You do have a very good top end speed. So I do believe like there's so much more speed you have left, right? I think the only thing for you is like you've got to like bring the reins in a little bit, right? Because you want it today.
Yeah.
You want it right now, right? And if you would just give it a little bit, let it breathe a little bit, right? Let it marinate a little
it
bit.
simmer.
Let it simmer, right? Then those big gains that you obviously want are going to keep coming, right? So like definitely low threes, like I think you could be sub 310, like for sure. But it's just going to come from, trusting the process.
Yeah.
Right. And not biting off too much before you put in, whatever the consistent effort or whatever it may be in. Right.
Yeah.
So, but for the two of you, with that being said, I do think both of y'all would be amazing at High Rocks. I
So
really do
good.
think so, right?
Yeah.
So
I definitely want to do some OCR stuff for sure.
I was gonna say, I'm surprised you didn't put OCR for her as well, because I think Dani would really
I
do
would
well
love,
at OCR.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I think she'd be good at it too. I mean, I think all of you would be, right? But like specifically, I think both of y'all would be really good at it. The only thing you would need to work on, I feel like, is just, I'm really not sure, because I think you'd be good at it now.
Doing more.
Doing more, yeah. But I think you would just need to get comfortable with, like, say, the weight, right? And then, like, the form of the things. But, like, immediately, I feel like y'all could come in and, like,
Crush.
be really good.
Crush.
Right? Like, the two of them would be mad at you kind of
Yeah.
thing. You see what I'm
But
saying?
I'd still
Like,
love you.
right? So y'all could be
which we love.
competitive.
I mean, yeah.
with one
we
another.
could already.
And we'd still dress alike.
Yeah.
Which would be good.
That would be
Yeah.
We
awesome.
could start with a relay team at Houston High
Yes.
Rocks. That seems
Yeah.
like a great place to start.
Yes.
That would be a good start. That would be awesome. I'd be down for that. In fact, let me tell you how confident I am in the group that is here. So I have done several different races with High Rocks. Pretty much all the races you can do. I've done them all.
You have done them all
Right?
now.
And I swore to myself the last time I did a mixed doubles that I probably wouldn't do it again. Probably wouldn't do it again. But I would take anybody at this table as a mixed doubles partner. How about those
Oh,
apples?
wow. You heard it here
Okay.
first.
So if I wasn't racing in Houston with my love,
Brother from another mother.
Tommy,
Not his wife love.
yeah,
His brother
she
love.
won't race with
Not
me
Leah.
at all, right?
Bromance.
Anyone, if y'all ever want to do a mixed doubles, hit your boy up. I'll run with you. Okay. So, and I just don't run with anybody.
Yeah, that's nice.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just not going to do that, right? I ran with
Would we
Lauren
be
one
running
time.
with James at that point?
Huh?
Would we be running with James
You
at that
literally
Oh.
would be running with
Oh.
James.
I
It's
kinda-
honestly like
I
it's an
mean-
honor. It's an honor because it's like, you know how you watch a movie and they say the line, they say the title of the movie in the movie, and it's like amazing. It would be just like that. It would be that good,
You never asked me to do a High Rocks.
and I probably won't. Right? Not because you wouldn't be amazing at it, but because I don't know if you would commit to it.
Show up.
I don't know if you would commit to it. You would be like, oh, I can do it, whatever. I don't need to do what. I can run Tempo Tuesday with James and keep up with him, right? But it's a different story, bro.
It is. I've already learned High Rocks lesson.
Yeah. How's your High Rocks training going?
I was going great right now.
Yeah.
I'm
What's
getting-
your mileage looking
I'm
like?
getting mentally prepared. It's so awesome. It's
Yeah.
so
What's
great.
that mileage look like
I'm
every
ready
week?
for Rocky's Rambles if y'all are too.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Also known as 0 mileage a week, no strength workouts, and I'm going to basically.
I was say I haven't
Nail it
seen you
in.
in the mornings. I'm showing up at 5 a.m. and I
Yeah,
haven't
next
seen
time you see me in the neighborhood, just hop out of your truck and join me on my run.
Bam.
Yeah. She be walking. You been walking your dog a lot lately, so I don't.
That's true. That's
she's
true. You
like,
do see me with the
it's
dog.
like mommy meat time, so I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I feel like Rocky's really testing like the mental game in
The
the, High
mental
Rocks
is, like,
preparation.
yeah.
Like if they say like the mental parts like 90% of the work, Rocky's like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm about to take it to 100%
I'm pretty sure
right
your
now.
heart is going to cut you out.
Oh yeah.
At
Mental
any
prep
moment.
game is on.
Yeah.
Well done.
So just so you know, we're 5 weeks out.
It's already 5 weeks.
5 weeks.
Yeah.
I'll cut all of this part out.
Yeah.
I'm done here. I need this.
He doesn't need to hear any of it. No. So, ladies, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
y'all
you.
for coming on. Is there anything that you wanted to bring up? Anything that maybe we didn't like ask you, or something you want to cover? Like maybe about your womanness or something? I don't know.
We all came dressed alike.
You did.
Y'all
We
did.
did, yeah. We
Wasn't
didn't even plan
planned.
that.
Really cute.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was great.
And then Jess and I dressed alike.
That's what you
Last
wanted.
two times we've seen each
Yeah.
other.
Yeah.
It's just like that BQ mindset.
It is.
Yeah.
Like you
You
just
get in
fall
sync
into
when you
it.
train with people.
Get on
you
my
start
level.
having the same mindset.
It's like
right?
I would say it's like y'all's moons have just lined up, synced up, and
Yeah.
Yep.
I was thinking about a mindset, not
Yeah.
that.
I said they're moons.
Freaking ridiculous. So, but it all starts with changing your mind.
And then
So
you
you
change your
Change
life.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jess
Yeah.
took my. You can have my line.
Dang.
I was setting them up, and they
Yeah, it was
they picked
perfect.
up on it what
Yeah.
I was putting down.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So
No, thank you. Thank you for having us. I mean, this was really, it's been awesome to train with everyone here and to have your support, James. Honestly, I do think like it means a lot to have someone tell you that you're capable of doing something that you didn't think you could. And I think that belief part is so important when you go to do something that's outside your comfort zone or something new, to believe in yourself. And I think a lot of that starts from having a great group to be around. So
Yeah.
I will say that was my driving force, like when I met you, knowing that I wanted you to coach me, is because you said, when I told you what my half marathon time was, you said, I think you're faster. I think you just need training.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, wow, you think I could be faster?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So seeing the potential in me and then helping me achieve that means so much to me.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah.
You definitely boost everyone's confidence, but in a very, I appreciate the casual confidence of it, because sometimes you come to a gym and somebody's just trying to sell you something, or they're just talking. You can tell they don't really know what they're talking about, and I feel like not only do you know your stuff, but yeah, like you see it, you point it out, and you push people to make it happen.
Yeah.
And I think that's important.
No, I agree.
And appreciated.
I agree. And I appreciate that y'all appreciate that.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, honestly, this is not like, I think most people think I just sit around all day training, working out, and watching TV. That's pretty much all I do. But it is a challenge sometimes, especially when you care a lot, because, you can't help everybody. You know what I'm saying? Because not everybody wants to listen, And not to say that, like, everything I try to coach people or teach people on is 100% accurate, right? So, I mean, like doctors practice medicine. It's not an exact science, right? There's a lot of testing and a lot of, trial and error that goes into it. But there are very consistent things, right? So we talk about, like, our pace charts. We talk about our conversation pace. There are very simple things that if you do them, then these things will kind of come to fruition, right? And so it's challenging in that, you try to convince people that if you will do this, this will be the result, right? But it's very contrary to what you think is actually true, right? It doesn't make any sense. Oh, you want to go faster, you need to slow down.
Yeah.
That's just like so like counterintuitive, right? But like I literally will tell people, and you probably have heard me say this, right? I guarantee that if you will do this, you'll get better, right? And there's very few things I feel like in life that you can guarantee, right? But I am not intimidated or afraid to say that I can guarantee it, is because I know that if you are consistent, create good habits, run easy, if you stick to the 5 rules, you are going to get better and faster. How good and how fast, that's a scale, right? That changes. But I know for a fact you're going to get better. And if you're not getting better, I don't care what you say, I know that you're not doing what you're supposed to do, right? So it's really kind of like a simple process. But when you care, like I tend to care a little too much, I feel like sometimes, when people listen to you, like it's very uplifting, right? It's very like my favorite thing was like when you sent, I don't even think you sent it, I think she sent it, right? And I was watching you or whatever. Like I was so excited. I was like, I was like literally cheering on, right? Not even run the race, right?
Yeah.
But that was more exciting to me than if I went out and ran it, right? Jess comes in with her crazy time or whatever, and finishes the race. And the whole time I'm following her and I'm watching her paces and I'm watching her run and I'm thinking to myself, holy crap, this chick is so fast. I'm like, she's going to crush it. She's crushing this thing. Oh, hope she didn't go out too fast. Oh my God, please don't blow up, right? All these things are going through my mind. And when you cross the finish line and you had crushed your goal, like that was, to me, that was better than if I had gone out and gotten a PR, right? Because, for me, my whole desire and a lot of why I race is to show other people that it can be done, not because I just want to show how amazing I am. And when you guys do really, really well, then that's my PR, right? So every time, so I get PRs all the time when I coach people, when they listen, because like you guys are being successful. And that honestly is like, that's what I do this for. So I want to thank you guys for giving me that opportunity and are you okay?
Laryngitis.
Okay, nice. It's back. For giving me the opportunity to invest in you guys and trusting in me and the process or whatever, because
It works.
it does work. Now, the biggest challenge, and this is why I laugh, is because now you all have done really well. Now, here's the tendency. You've progressed to this level now, and you think you're better than me.
Yeah.
And now you feel like you can't learn anything from me. And so you're going to go to new territories. You're going to go, grass is always greener on the other side.
Oh, boy.
But I've only given you just a taste of my knowledge, right? I've only given you just a sampling. There's so much more to learn, and I can take you to the next level. And then after that, there's another level. So don't get too big for your britches, because even if I have to tear my quad to do it, I can still beat you.
I mean, next time, for sure.
James, that's what's so great about
Sam.
you as a coach. You lift us up, but then you make sure we know we're not way
Not
up
too
here.
high.
You really
Not
like
too
to
high.
keep
I
us
like
down.
you guys. So if I say something, you got to believe it's true because I try to always be honest. So if I think you can do something like qualify for the Olympic trials, it's not. I'm not just saying it. I really do mean it. But then also, if I tell you you're trying to run too fast, slow the crud down, it's because I mean it, right? Or if I say I'm better than you, understand it's because I mean it, and it's true.
I have a question about that. No.
Yeah. What? That I'm better than you?
Yeah.
I mean, she has proven it otherwise.
Yeah. What's the question?
Oh no. I'll save it for the meeting.
Save it for Sunday fun day.
Yeah.
Save it for Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay. My quad's not completely healed yet, so let's
Already with the excuse.
don't test me,
Yeah.
right? Just yet, because I'm gonna let you win. All right.
That's what you said last time.
Oh.
Hey.
Danny's
No.
ending this on such a good note.
No, I'm loving
Yeah, the live
Yeah.
studio audience.
the
Yeah.
live
Yeah.
studio
Live
audience. Yeah,
audience.
today's show is filmed in front of a live studio audience. I love it. So, all right, guys. Anything else?
You've got something I can tell you.
I don't know.
You can.
I
Go
just
for
want
it.
to say that I have thoroughly enjoyed running with you guys.
Oh.
And training with you and always pushing me to be faster and supporting me. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Right back at you. That's what I'm saying. That's the great thing about running is it's individual. You're competing against yourself, but also when you train with people who have different strengths, it like grows you in so many different paths that you didn't know you could.
Yeah, it is. That's a unique. It's a unique group because I feel like, especially maybe with groups of women, there's not always this. There's not always women wanting to build each other up. There's a lot of competition in outside of this type of environment where like women are competing with each other and competing in the workplace and competing for attention and all this stuff. And I just feel like we have overcome that. That's not what we have in our group. Like we are genuinely rooting for each other and wanting each other to
And happy
achieve
for each
and
other.
happy for each other and wanting each other to achieve the goals that we've set out, and it is much more of a competition against yourself.
Yes.
But you take that away when you're with other people, so that's pretty awesome.
Preach.
Preach it. Yeah.
We knew we'd squeeze that female power in there
Yeah.
somewhere,
Got
James.
it in. I did give us I did preface them. I didn't
yeah,
tell you, but I prefaced them on some of our runs before today on what was allowed and wasn't. This wasn't going to be woman power show.
I will just say, looking at the camera right now, 2024 is the year of the BC woman. So
No, it's not actually.
it is.
It's the year of
James-
more. We've already established
And
that.
the
Yeah,
BC, more of the
more.
BC
Yeah.
woman.
We
BC
can't have
women.
more
More
women than we
BC
already
women.
have,
Yeah.
right? What would you put the number on percentage-wise of women that people, and compared to men and women that I'm coaching and that come to BC? What's that
would-
percentage?
There's definitely more women.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? Way more women.
Probably like 80-20. Maybe the 80-20
Yeah.
rule.
I think it's the 80-20
Yeah.
rule,
Yeah.
right? So if
The
so if-
golden rule, 80-20.
So I think the bottom line I'm trying to make here is that if I was such a horrible chauvinist pig man, we wouldn't be having so many women, right? Y'all wouldn't be able to put up with this all the time if I was really that bad.
That's why there's so many of us. Yeah.
Oh, because it takes that many
It takes as many
to
to
get
bring
together
you
to be
down.
safe. Nice. I love it. I love it. So, all right, do you have a Rockies ramble, sir?
I did, but I didn't get to finish it. But so I just.
We're giving you an opportunity right now to finish it.
Oh yeah. All
to
right,
say
yeah.
it.
Yeah. Okay. So,
No pressure.
ladies, I'm sorry ahead of time.
Oh, boy.
Oh, okay. I'm excited.
Suspense.
I know,
Don't
today-
take all day. Go.
All right, today we've
I
been
know. Should I
blessed-
hold my water?
Yeah,
Like,
today we have been blessed with these lovely guests, of course. And as you may know by now, I am not like James. We do have one thing in common though. That is loyalty. See, when James was a young boy, he was a part of the He-Man Woman Haters Club, and he's kept that oath and that vow his whole life. I respect that, but as for me, I was part of the He-Man Woman Lovers Club, James, and I still hold up my oath as well.
Gotcha.
I love women. October is my favorite month. I've been surrounded by strong women my whole life.
Isn't October like the booby month? I'm a fan of that month,
I
actually.
love breasts. I
Huge
love being
fan.
aware of them.
Huge fan.
Yeah, same.
Keep going.
I digress. On a serious note, though, it's tough being a woman, especially when you're actually excelling at a sport, because not only do you intimidate men, you also intimidate other women. But that's the beauty of what Jess was just saying, how this is different. Like, they build each other up. But the beauty of these women here, and that all women should learn from these women, is the consistency in submitting to a male. I'm kidding. That was not
Go ahead and edit that.
that escalated quickly.
that was not on my note. That was not on my notes.
That was.
That was not on my notes. That was
He
not on my
loved
notes.
that.
That's why he
Yeah.
apologized in
I-
advance.
No, I promise it wasn't on my notes. I promise. Lauren, you can read it. That wasn't
I
on my
did not
notes.
co-sign on any of that. I had nothing to do with that.
No.
Expressed here, not
No.
Yes.
Of running with James.
We have
What you need
disclaimer,
to do is
disclaimer
you
coming.
need to edit this to where when you get to that part, it just goes beep, and we will be back.
Yeah, but no, that was not part of my notes. No, for real though, the beauty of these women right here, just the consistency of, and also putting in the work, falling in love with the process. I mean, we just put big goals on one of them, talking about the Olympic trials. Like that, that's gonna be awesome. Like that is huge. Like that is,
speaking life there.
yeah.
We're manifesting. We're putting it there in the universe.
Speak life.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, that's a beautiful thing. And so the consistency that these women showed is not only like admirable, but it's like I want my daughter to hang around these people. Like I want her to look up at you guys because y'all do big things, and that's the power of what a woman can do, and that we don't give enough credit for. Because y'all can't complain because no one's gonna listen to y'all. You feel like you can't express your feelings because that's just how women are sometimes.
What world are you living in?
I'm just saying.
What freaking world are you living in? Because
saying-
women complain all the time.
saying, but-
They get their way. Have you not watched a Marvel movie in the last 2 years? Every superhero is a woman.
I mean, in general though.
This is
No,
the worst
go on,
ramble I've
Rocky,
ever heard
go
in my
on.
life.
No.
I was on board when you were like, submit to the man. You've lost me.
No, but see, He-Man Woman Hitters Club. I like that.
Oh,
But no,
man.
like, because if you do complain, every single male is going to think you're just complaining too much. But
Mm.
in reality, y'all do have problems, y'all do have stuff. But no matter what, y'all live life, y'all have a life, but y'all still knocked out big goals. Getting the Boston qualifiers, none of y'all thought y'all be there 2 years ago. So y'all did amazing things. And I'm very proud to know you guys. I'm very happy I'm part of all that because I'm literally a part of all this. I went to Boston with all you guys. You're my trainer partner. Got you your lights. And I see you in the neighborhood all the time. So I made it too. But I'm digressing again. Just happy for you guys. Thank you.
Thank
He's
you,
rambling.
Rocky.
He's
I'm-
rambling.
That was as true a ramble as it can ever get, and
That
I'm
was a
gonna start
great ramble.
proofreading everything you want to ramble about.
I mean,
especially
I
if women
felt
are
like it was
involved.
really the only thing that y'all didn't agree with was the one line about the submission thing, but the rest of it was very
It was
like,
very
oh,
sweet.
y'all are all disenfranchised and you never get your way, and people don't hear your voice.
I watched the Barbie movie before this.
What?
I had to watch the Barbie movie before this.
Did you hear that?
That was what
Oh, man.
that was
Actually-
what Rocky did for homework, leading to up to an interview with 3 women was watching Barbie.
Yeah, we watched this one movie actually a few years ago. It was called The Women. Have you ever seen it? And my sister-in-law actually made us watch it, and so we had like a movie night. And it was me, my brother-in-law, my wife, and me. And
Was it the one with Deborah Messing and the guy's cheating on his
no,
wife? No.
I don't know. I have no idea. There were only women in the movie. There were literally no men anywhere in the movie except the very end. There was a baby that was a boy, and you only
I
knew
just
it was
watched
a
that
boy.
movie. I
What
love
was
that's
the
one of my
premise of the
favorite
movie?
movies.
That doesn't surprise me at all. What?
What was the premise of the movie?
I can't even tell you.
What were
I
they-
couldn't
So
handle
no,
it.
it's
Like,
about a group of friends. One of them, her husband is this very high up, like really
Are
wealthy
we really
man.
going to go into it all?
I'm gonna give her a quick synopsis. He's cheating on her, and they're basically all trying to band with her and like help her get through it. It's a great movie. Go watch it.
It's not a good movie.
It's a great movie.
It was very boring. They were literally walking on the streets of New York. All
With
women.
only women?
Only women. The entire movie was literally nothing but women. And I don't have a problem with that, but it was also very, 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 very boring.
Tell us how you didn't have a problem with it a little more.
No, I didn't have a problem that it was only women. I just had a problem that it was only women and very boring.
Should have been male directed.
I think it actually might have been.
Oh, wow.
I'm
Oh,
just
so
kidding.
men behind the scenes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
That's
always.
not realistic. You're not going to walk around New York and not see men.
That's exactly
Oh.
right. Now, men, never
It's not
mind.
the real world.
It's just not. It's not real, right? So, but it was an amazing, amazing waste of my time. So thanks, guys, for coming in. I appreciate
you.
you. As we
Thank
close
you.
this out, I thought it would be a good idea. You guys remember Joanne from New York? You don't remember, do you? Neither one of y'all remember.
Oh, yeah, I do
Do y'all
remember.
remember
She ran a half. She was going to run a half.
So at the beginning, I want to say like somewhere around maybe the summertime, into the summer, a young lady by the name of Joanne wrote me and said that she had been listening to the podcast and whatever, a friend had sent her the podcast. And so, listening to us, she said she was going to try to run a distance, what have you. So she went out and ran the distance. And the commitment was like she was going to run like 20 miles or something like that by a certain date. And I was like, you got it, you can do it. So after she did it, she's like, I think I want to try to run a 15K. Right? So I've never ran that far before in my life. I don't know if I can do it or not. And I was like, you got it. Just be progressive, whatever. So she sent me an update. And the update simply is this. She ran her 15K. She went out, ran her
Good job.
15K. She said
Yeah, Joanne.
it was a great experience. She said she was able to move all the way to the end, push to the finish line. She said she couldn't convince her husband to join her. What's up with these husbands, guys?
Yeah.
What is up with these husbands? Killing me inside. Oh my God, right? But she said the crowd support was amazing, and she is going to do a half marathon now next year.
Nice.
So,
Go, Joanne.
Got the
so I
bug.
thought that was awesome. So Joanne, way to go! Very proud of you.
Joanne.
Excited for you. Keep giving us those updates on your running journey, and please, if you can rope your husband into it, let us know how you do it. Because for some reason, these guys are they intimidated, they're afraid. I don't know what it is, but these husbands are killing me inside, man. Like they won't come
To the gym, you mean?
and run with us, yeah.
It
Yeah.
really
And
hurts
then
feelings.
because y'all are always gone, they're mad at me because like I'm taking their wives away from them, right? And I'm like, that's not. I'm trying to get you to come. I want to be your friend. Like there's one husband of a wife that I try to be his best friend. I'm like trying to find all these ways we can connect. I'm like, oh, we used to do this together. Oh, we do this. Bam, bam, bam. And he like keeps pushing me away.
You want it too badly.
Maybe that's
Yeah.
it. I'm just too desperate.
You don't want to look desperate, James.
Yeah.
You should be open. You should tell him, hey,
Tell 'em
like,
how you feel.
I have. I've told him, I was like, man, I want to be friends. I want us to be friends. And really, the honest to God truth is, I just want him to stop complaining about her not being around. And I want her to come around more, right? And like, she can't do things because he's always blah, 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 blah. I'm sorry.
Tasmanian devil.
what I tell you,
Exactly.
when women
I'm
get
so
in shape,
frustrated.
it's intimidating.
I'm so frustrated. These men just frustrate me,
Excel,
man.
it's intimidating for the
So.
only man and women.
I do appreciate that about you ladies is that women, I find, are a little more willing to try new things and step out of their comfort zone. And men are freaking ridiculously prideful and they don't want to listen to anybody.
Yeah,
And that
I
just
told
ticks
you
me
not
off.
to run that other 100 meters, James.
Yeah. So women are awesome.
Thank you.
The future is
Amen.
woman.
2024.
The year of more.
We are girl dads.
Year more women.
Yep.
More women.
Look at that.
More of BC women.
Yeah. So anyway, so guys, thanks for coming in again.
Thank you,
Thank
James.
you.
It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it thoroughly.
like
that
Charlie's
was
This
Angels
was
right
fun.
there.
Our first
That was awesome.
podcast for all of us, I think.
We will be back next
Charlie,
week.
But thanks, James. Like all at once.
No,
Say
let's not
rock
do
them.
that. That'll make me uncomfortable. But I really do appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. Great things in the future. And Houston Relay, you've committed to it. Is that what y'all just said?
That's what I heard.
All four of you?
Matching outfits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So make sure it says BC Fitness
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
it.
It's a 4-person relay.
Did she ask if she could join?
Yeah, she just put herself in.
I feel like I'm feeling very like they look.
I don't think
You
you
have to
could.
talk in the microphone, Laura.
They all look cute, matchy. I'm feeling very left out. Like okay.
I don't think they have a 3-person relay.
I think
so
you should come
we
to
need.
Boston, though. I mean,
Yeah.
Well, I'm definitely
if
coming.
you
Like
you should come this year. I have a feeling
I'm
very
Still a lot of
definitely
time to
coming
qualify.
Boston.
Yeah.
For sure.
Laura's got in her head that I can qualify for Boston.
Yeah.
For 2025. James.
I think you can, but
Oh, wow, okay.
you're going to have to put in work, dude.
Okay.
Right? That's bottom line, right?
Marathon with other 12 other races you're going to do this year.
Yeah. The 50 other races, not 12. But yeah, there's no doubt in my mind. I think both of you could qualify for Boston, right? But not in the state that you're in right now. You're going to have to put in work.
Yeah, I'm talking about you right now.
Right? You're going to put in work. So, which, like I said, that's the hard part, right?
It is.
That's the hard part. So, all right, guys. So, if this is your first episode, thank you so much for joining us. We really do appreciate you coming in. Please make sure to rate, like the podcast as well. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit that bell, that subscribe button. And we now have the capability for you to support the show. So, if you want to become a member, there's some nice extras you can get, some swag, things of that nature. So, you can click the link below to become a supporting member. And remember, as always,
If you change your mind.
Change,
change
your
your
life.
life.
Hey, let's go.
let's go.
Yeah, we didn't even practice that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
You know what? We could do that better. I feel
We,
like.
we probably
Yeah.
could.
Oh, there's no doubt. Maybe we'll do that like for a
Next
the
episode.
Yeah.
video.
IG.
Okay.
There you go. Yeah, that would be so cute.